The crash between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen on the first lap of the British Grand Prix has left the world of F1 divided on whether it was a racing incident or if one of them was to blame. Red Bull have put the blame squarely on Lewis Hamilton and have stated multiple times that the 10-second penalty that Hamilton got was too lenient. Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko has now revealed their latest course of action to Kronen Zeitung. I'm your host Dillon Shelley, and first up on Formula World, Red Bull hire lawyer to investigate crash. Marko started off by explaining why they hired the lawyer. He should check what you could do in such a situation within the framework of the sports law. He reiterated why he feels Hamilton should have received a race suspension. We are lucky that nothing serious has happened to Max. The car is broken and the engine probably too. You can't let that sit on you. A suspension would be justified. He further gave his thoughts on the 10-second penalty Hamilton received instead and contrasted that with Perez's penalties from the race before. That's ridiculous, but maybe the regulations are also to blame for being relatively restricted. The law should be revised, including the stewards system. Perez got 5 seconds twice in Austria because there was marginal contact without anyone flying off. You could have given a drive-through penalty plus 10 seconds for Hamilton, but they didn't do that either. He summed up his words by explaining how serious the issue is. Max was on his line. Where Hamilton was, he has to lift off the throttle. You cannot hit your opponent on the rear wheel in one of the fastest corners. The lightest touch has fatal consequences. So, an irresponsible action. Hamilton needs to know what the consequences are. Fast feed. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff has stated that they have seen that George Russell often makes mistakes, something that is normal when you are 22 years old. He added that they have to build his potential up patiently, and that's what they did this year. He also feels they have to acknowledge the regulations have thwarted their plans. Maybe they could have avoided it or they could have handled it differently, but it is what it is. Retired world champion Damon Hill pointed out that it was Lewis who said, "I'm a street fighter, and if you want to be rough with me, I'll show you what I can do." And psychologically, that must have had an impact on Max. It must have. It makes him realize that Hamilton will not shy away from a fight. Retired F1 driver turned analyst Jolyon Palmer can understand the polarizing opinions after the incident. The impact on Max was enormous, and the effect on the championship at this stage almost as great. Red Bull's management understandably insisted on the heaviest possible penalty for their main opponent in a race where they really had nothing else to do, but the reality is that the incident did not justify that penalty. He further added that this was undoubtedly a brave attempt by Hamilton, but it was not cynical. Retired F1 driver Rubens Barrichello, however, would blame Hamilton and give more than 10 seconds. The penalties are 5 seconds, 10 seconds, drive-through, and so on. There's more than that 10 seconds. I would give more than 10 seconds because those 10 seconds, with the impact his move had, he still had a great chance to win, Barrichello added. Retired F1 driver turned pundit Martin Brundle felt a little uncomfortable hearing the radio messages from Red Bull and Mercedes who were trying to influence the situation by lobbying the race director. Apparently, that's how communication goes these days. FIA race director Michael Massey logically referred them to the stewards, but he imagines the process will be different in the future. He also revealed that he has been told by Red Bull that there is data that they can use to prove that Hamilton went into the Copse corner significantly faster than at any other time, and that he could not have made the corner without going wide and inevitably tapping Verstappen in the end. It is likely that this data will come out, Brundle added. Retired F1 driver Ralf Schumacher is of the opinion that as long as you have that stupid rule that you have to leave room on the outside, it just doesn't work. Lewis made an error of judgment. It wasn't a typical overtaking corner. He was too optimistic and could have cut into the corner more sharply. Should teams be banned from communicating with the race director while the stewards are still deliberating on an incident during a race? Head over to my community page to vote in the poll and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe and check out my others for all the latest in the world of Formula 1.